Warda, thank you so much for coming out tonight and for spending your Tuesday night with us as we once again delve into the political intrigue and social interactions that is Warda. First and foremost, shall we get all the stuff out of the way, all the business?
All the business.
Yeah.
Because there's business
Taking
every
care of
week.
business.
Business.
Taking care of business. Every day, taking care of business. All right. First off, hi chat. How's it going? How y'all doing tonight? I can't stop thanking people whenever I'm on this. I'm like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I feel like every time I see everybody and everyone's here, I'm like, they like the thing that we made. It's so good. I love that. Actually, here's an interesting inside tidbit into Warda. Allie and I created Warda in line at Disney World.
For which ride, do you remember?
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
We were in line for Haunted Mansion, and it was a long line, and I said, okay, let's make up a world, because that's one of the coolest, fun things I do when I'm at Disney. If I had friends who are also like-minded creatives,
Yeah.
so like, let's create a world. We may never use it again, let's just create it.
I want to go to Disney with you guys.
Yes, please.
Seriously.
Real bad.
And so
You will,
sitting,
Frank.
We were
You
sitting
will.
around, and I'm like, okay, tell me what this world is like. And Ali was like, it's Edwardian. Like, okay, what else? I don't know. And we spent the rest of the time coming up with it. And that's the beginning of Warda, was actually in line at Disney World.
We literally spent the next 48 hours
Working on it.
working on it, yeah. And then continued to work on it throughout that winter. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was challenging though, because there's stuff that you wanted me to figure out in the world that I was like, but I don't care. I
Oh,
don't
somebody finally got it's Edwardian, as in Warda. And the
Gold
wards.
Star. Yeah, and the wards and the wardens. There's lots of reasons why it's called Warda.
Oh man, a special episode of Warda live from Disneyland would be amazing.
Whoa.
Let's do it.
But we got to do our thank yous. First off, thank you guys. Thank you to all three of you for being here tonight, for being a part of this whole thing. We'll go around and we'll introduce our usual players as usual. But in a
Usual
bit.
suspects.
Our usual suspects. But we got to give a shout out to Allie on the ones and twos tonight. Thank you, Allie.
Hey guys.
Please
Please let me know in the chat if everything sounds okay. We had some setbacks earlier that we're working around. Please let us know. If anybody sounds a little weird, let me know if you figure out who it is, and we'll try to correct it. I'm still learning!
Thank you so much, Allie, for being on the ones and twos tonight. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you can also say in to Allie. She'll be in the chat as well to answer questions if you guys want to ask questions. We also got to thank the One Shot Podcast, because, as always, without them, we'd just be a bunch of nerds in a basement.
Oh.
And instead, we're a bunch of nerds in a basement that get filmed.
Live
So
on the
it's a
internet.
Live on the internet.
We're connected. We're nerds all over the world.
Yes, we are the world. We are the nerd children. I don't know.
We are.
The nerds of the nation.
Youth of the.
The nerds of the basement.
Yeah! All right.
We needed to get there.
So that had to happen. So we got to thank the One Shot Podcast for letting us use the Pocket Dimension and be able to bring this to everyone. And because we are affiliates of the One Shot Podcast Network, we have to plug the Dungeon Dome. The Dungeon Dome is going to be an interactive D&D live play experience, and there's literally one more day of funding for the Dungeon Dome. It's already been funded, so it's absolutely going to happen. You can jump in there and get more cool stuff for us, like a better Dungeon Dome, better stuff. It's going to be awesome. And Allie and I are playing in it. We're both characters in the Dungeon Dome, so that's going to be a lot of fun. While we're sitting here, let's go around and introduce our players for the night. Please say your real name and who you're playing and what you're playing, I guess, as well. So.
Oh, okay. My name is Justin Blankenship. I am playing Embrilar Ardeo, a half Gina Friddy, aka Firefey. And I am, my occupation is I am a warden of the Hand and Eye. Basically a magic cop.
Magic cop.
Right. Although in this session, I'm not on warden business.
Magic PI.
Magic PI.
Saxophone solo in the background.
Yeah.
So that's Justin, and who are you, Frank?
Hi, I am Frank, and I am playing Tippin, just Tippin, who is a pixie of the wing and hairstyle.
Yeah. Tippin of the make shit up off the top of his head.
He does that a lot. That's how Tippin rolls for most of his planning and everyday life. Yeah, he is a pixie, a rogue pixie, and he's awesome. So, yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Frank. And last but not least,
Hi, my name is Alexis, and I will be playing Alva Goldfinch, who is a fairy and a hat maker and a dealer of secrets.
so that's going to be our party for tonight, just the three of them. And we're going into dinner at the Ardeo household.
We are.
Yes, we are.
A quick recap of what's happened before. You guys were on that train, to Amenheim, and that train got a little derailed.
A little bit.
And you guys got off at Dogwood Station after certain events had happened, and you, Embrilar, were able, all of you, witnessed Mephanus, your stepfather, take a crate of illegal goods.
Yep.
And he then invited you to dinner, so you guys are gonna go have dinner. Just so everyone knows, so everyone is aware, you can find out more about Warda. I have all of it written down because I forget it every single time. Please go to welcometowarda.com to explore the world. Jordan is he going to be putting stuff in the chat this time? Is that a
Jordan is definitely in the house.
Thank you, Jordan, so much.
I think between me and him, we'll cover it.
You'll cover everything else. So you can tweet at welcometowarda.com. Tell us your stories, because Warda's not just about us; it's about you. Like it's a world where all of us can coexist and be, and like you exist in this world. And if you go to our Patreon and what is it? Is it $5? Is it $5 you are canon? Or is it $10?
$10. $10 a month on the Patreon gives you an opportunity to create a fully realized canon character in the world. Alexis is actually one of our patrons at that level. So is Jordan. And Alexis created a character, and now she's sitting behind the table. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not making promises, but who knows?
Who knows what will happen? Things will happen. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. So, so let's get to one of our favorite segments of Warda, Getting to Know You.
Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you.
And in our segment of Getting to Know You tonight, I would like to ask each one of you, what is a moment in your character's life where they were really embarrassed? They had unmitigated embarrassment about something that had happened to them. We're going to start with Tippin.
Tippin's first week of life.
Oh, it's cute.
On the 5th day that Tippin was alive, Tippin loves thunderstorms and just like being around them, but he didn't realize the danger of a pixie being out in a thunderstorm at the time because he was 5 days old. And it was his first ever. So he went a little too close to a scheduled storm and was saved by another pixie, Remy, for those of you that know who that is. Yeah, but he was really embarrassed because it was kind of like a shortcoming of his, and a lot of pixies apparently know that you should avoid high winds and stuff like that, and he didn't realize that. So I guess, yeah, that was a point of embarrassment.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. Embrilar, what's a moment of embarrassment for you?
When Embrilar was much younger, when he was still a child, Embrilar looked, I looked up to, like the Dare and the Seelie. They were these mystical, like, godly beings that I looked up to. And I always had a dream when I was younger of maybe one day meeting the Dare. And that was just a huge dream of mine that I thought would have been really cool. And I made the mistake of mentioning that to my mother. And she basically treated me like an idiot.
She laughed in your
She
face.
essentially laughed in my face. Like, beyond the normal, like, no one's met the Dare. Beyond that, it was like the added salt in the wound of like, well, why would he ever meet a lowly half-gene like you? Like he would. Why would he ever waste his time on something like you?
Man.
We get to
And-
meet her tonight.
Oh, we're gonna meet
Luminessa.
Mom. We're gonna meet Mom.
Luminessa.
And yeah, so that made me feel that it absolutely crushed me. And I think that's actually kind of ties into everything here. So like I grew up actually still like liking the Sealing, really respecting them, and then after everything that happened last time, finding them they're responsible for all these deaths, kind of a lot of disillusionment happening.
Oh man. It's been a hard couple of spans for Embrilar.
Yeah, it's been a rough year, rough cycle.
I dig it. Alva.
Right. Alva's most embarrassing moment was a doctor's appointment she went to as an adult where she realized she had made a mistake. Alva prides herself on being very much in control of her life, of taking care of herself, of making sure everything around her is under control. And she made a mistake regarding her health, and she had to go to her usual slightly shady doctor and have a conversation that she was very uncomfortable having. And it wasn't even that she was just vulnerable in front of the doctor, she was vulnerable in front of herself, and she had nothing to hide from.
Deep.
Yeah.
Oh man, deep. I dig that. I dig that hardcore. But yeah, so that's thank you guys for getting to know you guys a little bit more. Anything on your end, Allie? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to do?
No.
Okay.
I think, okay, I do want to say something.
Okay, all right.
I would like to take this opportunity to say that I think we all need more hats.
We do.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
But I think in Justin's case, the hat can actually just be a set of horns. Like, we should get you a set of horns to wear.
We should
Yeah.
totally get you.
Don't you
a
think?
set.
Okay, I'm actually 100% on board with that.
I think
As
I think
set
it
of
would be
horns.
great.
I think it'd be awesome.
I'm into that. And then Frank, we can get you wings.
Yes.
So
The Halloween
done.
store is going to open
So-
any day now.
So I've been watching and
Yeah.
listening to Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's like an actual play of D&D.
Yeah.
And in that they have these things called Christmas where fans send them stuff,
Yeah.
tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're good. We should get stuff anyway. It's fine. Eventually,
We are good, darn it.
My goal is to make Warda as successful as Critical Role one day. It's gonna be great.
I like it. I do have to say this because it is insane. Like when Embrilar considered Decret, actually when he was younger, he doesn't have white horn tips like Mephanis, but he went through a phase where he frosted his tips. Frosted tips.
Get the heck out of here. Get out.
He totally did too. But it was literal frost. It wasn't like.
Oh yeah.
I dig it. I
That's
so dig it.
it's definitely the younger teenage Ifriti that do that, but they do it,
They frost
and they think it's the coolest thing
Well,
ever.
yeah, because Mephanis has white horns.
He does, man. He's so cool.
It's unbelievable.
Mephanis is very cool.
Mephanis is very cool. Although adults don't take Mephanis seriously. He's that crazy old guy who meditates all the time
But he's nice to me.
and is apparently involved in the smuggling black market.
We don't talking about that.
Apparently,
that.
we don't know yet. Let's
You don't
find
know.
out. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, as always, we're going to start with our cold open. I want you to imagine it.
Or would it be? We're at my house. Would it be a hot open?
A hot open? Yeah, it's a hot open.
Okay.
It's a hot open. I want you guys to imagine it. We are in the city of Ammenheim. There is no sunlight. There is no light other than bioluminescent mushrooms and fungus, and the lights of gas lamps and magic globes. And we are going through the streets of this place of perpetual twilight. And Ammenheim is this city set underneath a mountain, and so it's this giant cave with these giant stalactites on the ceiling, and this Victorian-esque cobblestone streets within Ammenheim. And as we go through the streets of Ammenheim, we come across a large building of white marble and pillars of Grecian Roman pillars and such. And at the top, in a slightly peeling gold leaf, it says, "The Twitchwiggler Bank and Trust." And we see that, and then the camera pans back, and there is a group of about 5 Fae in high coats and hats, and they're walking across the courtyard, the square, to the Twitchwiggler Bank and Trust. At the front, there is a man there's a Fae in a top hat, high collar. We can't see his face, and he has a cane, and we hear the knock of the cane with every step that he takes. And they head up those steps up to the building, and they open up the doors. And the camera goes into the doors, and there at the front there's a desk, and there's a young goblin with glasses perched on his nose, and he's writing. And he looks up and he sees these characters come in. And as they come in, the young goblin looks over his glasses and go, "Can I help you?" And the front Fae, who's got that top hat pulled low and that cane, he goes, "We're here to see Mr. Twitchwiggler." Mr. Twitchwiggler is out at the moment. Would you like to leave a message? Of course. And then he takes the rod and shoots a spell right into this goblin's face. And it's the side camera, and you see the goblin get hit and like knocked across the room. And the 4 other of those Fae fan out and start like slinging spells back and forth. And we don't focus on the action. All we focus on is this center figure. We're gonna say that his top hat is black, but his coat is like a cream color. It's a slightly off-white, and he's got blue gloves on, and it's him just walking through, and we see chaos going on in the background around him. People are screaming and running and being like shot down by these big brutish other Fae that are around him, who are all half-genes. And as they sit there, they begin to like trash the place, and the figure goes over to the goblin who's on the ground, completely disoriented and trying to get up, and he leans down close to the young goblin's face, and he goes, "Do make sure he gets the message. I'd hate to be misunderstood." He gets him one more time, and we look up to see there's a half-gene Ifriti who is spreading fire across the wall. And as he's spreading fire across the wall, the scorch marks that are left are of a gnarled tree, with the branches of it aren't tree branches; they're spider legs. And as it goes across that, as that begins to burn itself into the back mahogany wood over this picture of Iggly Twitchwiggler, we cut to black and head to the intro. All right. So, guys, after that, we're going to start like we always do. We're high above the city of Amangrad. And we see it as we usually see it. It is about dusk. It is first autumn, I believe. I believe it's first autumn.
Yep.
And there's a chill in the air. And we look down on the city of Amangrad through the clouds, and we see that horseshoe that the city is. With that long border wall that runs all the way around it. At the very back, there's high mountains that are impossibly Everest high. And as we start bringing ourselves down towards the city, as we start heading down, we head to a place called Gloward Park. And just now, as the sun is beginning to set, everything is in this orangish glow. There is a slight cool breeze. You see people in scarves and hats and high-collared coats walking around. And as they're walking around, we are moving through the city streets until we come across the Ardeo estate. And the moment we cross the threshold into the Ardeo estate, it is no longer autumn, but it feels like a humid jungle. And it's all this kind of dark green, like this, so many different colors of green everywhere. And we pull up on, and we go over the house itself. And the house is made of like black iron and glass. A lot of that, like, there are a lot of glass domes, like conservatory greenhouse domes. And a lot of like open verandas and porches and gazebos. And a few, like a water garden. But everything is tropical and open. But made of, and there's very little wood. Most of it is in either stone, metal, or glass. And we come across you guys at the front gate. We see behind you as you have, all of you step out of a carriage and are now standing in the front gate of the Ardeo estate as the carriage pulls away and Mephanis is there. So how are you guys standing out in front of the, like, what does it look like?
I'm just standing there with this look on my face, just trying to steel myself for everything that's about to happen.
Are you holding Mildred over your shoulder?
Has she not woken up yet?
I'm going to say that she has woken up at this point.
Okay.
But she's been very quiet. She has not said anything.
Good.
But she's you've been keeping her close.
Yep.
During this entire thing. So it is you.
Yep.
Mildred.
We got it. Shit, did that just happen?
What, did I catch that?
Yeah, no, you killed him. He's right here. Well,
did.
he's dying. Maybe put him out.
I wasn't looking. What happened?
I caught a fly.
He killed a
He caught a
fly
fly.
in midair.
Just like
I was like,
slapped it out of the
and
air.
I'm done. I'm in my element. I'm DMing.
Oh shit.
So it's you two. It's
Yes.
Alva.
Yeah,
it's
I guess Mildred's in between us.
in between you. Iggly
Yep.
is there as well.
Yep.
Joe's in his pocket.
And Joe is in your pocket. And where are you, Tippin?
I'm above the pocket on the shoulder.
But
So
she's like in the front pocket, not like the inside pocket.
Okay, sweet.
She's on the outside. She can see everything.
Yeah.
So you guys are looking at this incredibly beautiful sight of this tropical place that you guys are in, with the sun setting in oranges and the imposing Ardeo Manor in the background of it. The estate itself is like several city blocks. Like, it's huge. It's like a park, mostly.
Did you say that Joe was there?
Yeah, Joe's there.
Joe's there. Okay.
Does it take up the whole of Gloward?
No,
What
it
do you call
doesn't take up the entire neighborhood of Gloward Park. But it is like, if Gloward Park were like Manhattan, it would be Central Park.
Gotcha.
And you know for a fact, Embrilar, that there's a lot that goes on this estate.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's workshops, there's mechanist workshops, there's foundries.
Because of Mom.
There's your mom. A lot's going on in this place.
Yeah.
Your mom's going on in this place.
Yeah. And so Mephanis gets out of the carriage and it rides away, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, Embrilar, and he goes, "I'm going to go prepare. I'm sure you can lead your friends to the house."
Yes. Thank you, Father.
Of course. He looks over to everyone. He gives a formal bow to you, Alva, a very formal bow to Iggly Twitchwiggler, and then he continues on and leaves. And he goes. You hear him kind of humming idly to himself as he takes the long route through. Basically, he disappears into the jungle.
Yep. It's like the only part I like about this entire estate.
Your father, says Iggly.
All the trees, all the fauna. It's if Mother had her way, it would just be workshops and steel and glass. This breaks that up a little bit. gives it life.
Is this your father's doing? He points at a plant next to him.
Yes, yes. He always is one for being one with nature. I tend to agree with him.
Well, from what I understand, he's a good man. I've never met him personally, but
He is a good man. He is.
shall we?
Yes, forgive me, my manners. Right this way, this is the Ardeo estate. We are now in the courtyard, entering into everything. If you look over to your left over there, we have the one of the guardhouses. You won't ever have to deal with it.
There's a guy. Hey, Embrilar.
Hey, Frank. Keep moving. And then over there on the far, over there in that area over there where Dad just went, Dad has meditation areas. He likes to hang out with with his dueling club and everything. That's where they have their meetings and their rituals and everything. I've only been there a couple times, so I don't really know everything that's done over there. We have plenty of rooms for everyone to have their own room. Sidebar, what time of day is it?
It is. The sun is going down.
The sun is going down. All right. Okay. Thankfully, we've already missed afternoon tea, so because that's always just an absolute trash show. Let's go on in, and I'll take you guys to your rooms.
All right, so you guys head down the path. Like I said, it is a beautiful, beautiful estate. And as you head through the courtyard, like I said, there's a lot of banyan trees and a lot of palm trees, and it's warm. Like you guys were dressed for autumn, and you're now feeling the perspiration come to you as you're walking through this tropical.
Well, not me.
Not you. You're used to this.
Yeah.
So you're basically shown in quick order. The camera follows you as you guys go in through this giant wrought iron door. You don't even need to open the door.
No.
Embrilar, there's a servant there. There's a fairy servant who opens the door for you. He's wearing the livery of House Ardeo.
Thank you, Gildy. Gildy.
Yeah. So you guys head inside, and you're shown immediately to a parlor. And you know for a fact, Embrilar, as you guys get into this parlor is actually I didn't do anything. It was on here. My foot got caught. I'm sorry. Embrilar, you know for a fact that you go into this parlor, but this parlor is like an open veranda. So there's like low furniture in here, but there's like Venetian blinds that are like rolled up, so you can look out, and there's a nice breeze blowing through. But you hear the chimes. There are chimes all over this house. Like there's sound everywhere, because Ifriti love sounds. And the chimes ring for dinner, so you know dinner is very, very soon. So what do you guys do? You guys are sitting in this parlor. You're shown in the parlor.
I'm giving them a tour. I'm like, over here we have one of our parlors. Over here is a boardroom meeting where my mother courts and shows everyone like potential clients for her mechanica.
Is there like paper and possibly a pen somewhere in the
There
room?
is paper. There's a writing desk with ready paper and a pen.
A little stationery like right by the front.
Yeah.
Alva goes
House
to the
Ardeo
stationery, rips off a piece, grabs a pen, and as you're talking, she stops, puts this in front of you. Where are the servants' entrances and exits? All the ones you know. Thank
At
you.
this moment, Tippin is telling Joe to pass him some snacks from the pocket snacks that he packed earlier this trip inside of Embrilar's coat.
So as you go over, all you see is a hand
Yes.
come up, and it's a candied fruit. It's like
Thank you.
It's like candy apricot.
Yes.
Yeah. Embrilar draws like whatever like domestic servant entrances and exits that he knows. Alva says thank you and does not let Mildred see this as
Okay,
it's
because
passed through.
Mildred at this point has a really sour look on her face. She's got like this huge bruise on the back of her neck. Because it's
I don't know how that got
on the
there.
back of her neck, and she's like rubbing it, but she's being very quiet, and she's sitting down in a low chair.
This way, and I take them up the stairs that are in the main hall. We're up to the second floor where all of the guest rooms are.
Sweet. So as you're heading up there, Iggly is with you as well.
Yes.
And he's just taking everything in. And you see him as he pulls out like a small notepad, and he's like making notes as he goes through, not even looking, as he makes notes. And as you're heading up the stairs, you get to the second floor, and you see the house steward. He is a half-gene Ifriti, like you, whose name is Colton Swent.
Okay.
And Colton shows up and he's like, Master Embrilar.
Colton,
Pleasure to have you home, sir.
it's a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Can I get you anything? Are you...
All is fine. Do not trouble yourself over me. You know, I'm pleased.
Are these your guests, sir?
Yes, thank you. This here is Iggly, to a Twiggler.
He bows.
This is my friend Alva.
Bows again.
This is our guest, and I put my arm like on her shoulder, Mildred.
And he looks at her and looks at you and looks at her and he goes, your Silvani friend that you work with.
No, sorry, Colton. Miss, different one.
Of course. It's a pleasure to have all of you here in House Ardeo. Welcome. And he does a very deep formal bow and he goes, would you like to get dressed for dinner?
Yes. This is my friend Tippin. This is his friend Joe. And then sidebar, would I know any like pixie area? What is the pixie situation?
The pixie situation in your house. The pixie situation with facial hinges. Please narrate what you're doing and reacting. Just going for it.
Yes.
I am eating.
So as you have a cadre of house pixies.
Yes.
And they go about the house and they watch for you, but they also run messages for you the entire time. And there's a particular section of the house where there is like a pixie house made for them.
Okay.
And that's where they keep them.
Yeah.
But he says, would you care to get dressed for dinner?
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Thanks,
Excellent.
Colton.
Master Ardeo, I'm sure you know where your room is. I'll show the ladies to another room. Mr. Twitchwiggler. And as he bends down and as you're about to leave, a pixie flies out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's not dressed in your house colors.
Yeah.
And it goes up to Iggly and whispers in his ear, and Iggly turns his head and listens, and then snaps his notebook shut and puts the pen away and reaches into his pocket and he goes, I'm terribly sorry, but I must go. And he takes out something, snaps it, and then he's gone.
Oh,
like
whoa.
he pulled out a portable teleportation spell.
Yes.
And basically goes into that center piece. And all that's left is like a broken cartridge.
And that's startling even if you know what it is.
Even if you know what it is, and he's gone. And the pixie takes off as well. And everyone's standing there going,
I'm sure everything is fine. Mr. Twitchwiggler is a very busy man.
Of course. Ladies, this way.
Thank you. I take Mildred's hand in mine and then sort of tuck it under my arm like we're two
like
school,
friends.
Yeah, like we're two friends and I'm just patting her forearm as we walk.
Excellent. And so you know where your room is.
Yeah. I thank Colton. Thank you, Colton. Pleasure to see you again. Remind me, who's all at the estate this evening?
Before you go, he looks at you and says, the entire family is here, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
He goes, and dinner is in half an hour, so please do hurry.
Yes, thank you. And I head off to my room.
Okay. So the thing is, what is your room like in this place?
So it's a mansion, so my room is quite large. But I mean, my mother didn't want me to have like anything opulent, anything big. She tried to have me like stay in like one of the smaller rooms, but over time, my father convinced her to let me have like a normal sized room.
So you like started in like the cupboard under the stairs and then made your way.
Slowly but surely, yes. I wouldn't say a cupboard, but definitely something cupboard-esque.
You started in the second floor guest room.
Yes.
The way Harry did it later
a small
on.
closet. Like,
Yeah. But no, so my room is fairly, no, I never stay here. So it's similar to like how it was way back when. So it's visually like when you're going home and you're like your high school room and you haven't stayed in there ever.
I am going to take the chat's suggestion. The moment you walk in, there are hat boxes and hats hung up. You've gotten hats your entire life.
Yep.
And you have an entire wall of hats.
Of just hats.
That you never have used.
I don't like any of them. But
So glad Alva's in there to see that.
yeah.
That's just a waste.
But yeah, can describe your room.
But there's a wall full of hats, of these opulent, very nice hats, and all of them have not been worn at all. But in the far corner on the nightstand by my bed, there is like a slightly worn-ish hat, and that is separate from everything else.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Continue.
Yeah. So there is. It is a. It's like a tile floor, but like a mix of like tile and hardwood. And when you step on it, it kind of like senses temperature and changes depending on where you walk in the room. There is like a large bed, but nothing too large. Probably the equivalent of like a queen. And it's a canopy bed. And the bed is flowing. And it almost, you would think it would be something reminiscent of like a Johnny bed, very airy and flowing, but it's it has like the 4 posts, and above it is like a swirling like dark cloud. And then if you listen, it always sounds like you don't see any rain, but it always sounds like as if there was raindrops pinging off of the top of the canopy bed.
That's really cool.
Right
Yeah.
on.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and so you can, if you were to lay in bed, you could hear almost like a budding thunderstorm.
It was Justin.
Yes.
When
What?
you raised your arm, the shirt touched the mic.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a little rough.
Oh, sorry. Do I need to repeat any of that?
I don't know.
Okay. So essentially, I'll just repeat it anyway, real quick. Canopy bed. There are 4. It's a canopy bed, so there's 4 posts, and above it, instead of being like a drapery, it's almost like a cloud, and the cloud is. It always sounds like thunderstorms, and you can hear like ting 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 of rain falling, almost as if there was rain falling on top of the bed.
That's really cool.
Tippin loves this bed.
Yeah, it's a very nice bed. I like my bed, but I don't really spend a lot. That's actually the only thing that like I look forward to if I'm coming home. Is this bed.
So you go over, you're like, that's the room. You go over and you open your closet, and there's all of your like your evening wear and like the different clothes that you have in here. So we're gonna jump over to the two of you. Colton drops you off in a ladies' guest room, and there are 2 fairy ladies' maids waiting for you. And you guys have your pick of clothing, basically. There's a ton of dresses in here, and they're all evening wear. So I guess the question is, what do you want to wear, Alva?
Probably something in ruby tones.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, something not too risque, just tasteful,
Tasteful, okay.
but aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Okay, so chat, give me the dress that Alva will be wearing. Remember, it is tasteful and in ruby tones. And also, and I'll describe what Mildred ends up wearing. Mildred ends up wearing a black dress. She goes, and it complements her darker bark skin perfectly. And it's darker black, but it's got green highlights to it. And it's evening wear, so it's very nice for the 2 of you. And the fairy lady maids help you.
Yeah. Once we're almost dressed, like to the point where I know that like even the most incompetent of highborn women can get changed themselves, so this is now acceptable. I turn to the ladies' maids and say, "Would you mind excusing us for a moment?"
They look at each other and they go, "Ma'am, we're not supposed to be leaving you."
Then can you wait outside the door? I'd like a private word with my friend.
Of course. Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh, that fancy.
Yeah. I got that.
That thing. Oh. I dig that. So the dress that Ali just showed us was a Jordan showed us.
Thanks, Jordan.
Is a black dress with these long, drapey red sleeves.
Ooh.
Oh, goodness.
These are all cool.
They're very, very cool. But you said tasteful, but
Yeah, I'm
not
liking the
risque.
more like streamlined,
streamlined look that
Yeah,
like,
less
no
evil
bustle
queen
to it.
Yeah, no, that's old fashioned. None of
yeah.
that.
That second one looked like something Mom would wear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That other one. That
is
thing,
your mom.
that's what your mother will be wearing.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, jeez.
So the two fairy ladies leave, and you're left alone with Mildred. And Mildred is like still getting dressed. She's like putting on makeup, I guess. So what do you want to say to her?
Would you believe me if I said I don't want to get in the way of your business?
She like looks at the mirror. So she's looking in the mirror, and you're behind her. And that's the shot that we're looking at.
Yes, it is.
She's looking at you going, no, I wouldn't believe that.
Fair enough. You don't have to. I'd like to ask you some questions, specifically pertaining to the capabilities of you, your brother, and possibly some of your fellows. Do you know anyone who is familiar with thrall magic?
She gets this confused look on her face. This was not what she was expecting to answer. She like turns around and looks at you and goes, what do you mean?
Someone who has the capacity to control a sentient mind. Not a mind you build with a soul gem, a mind that was born, raised, lived, and then is taken over as if it were a doll.
You're talking about emotional magic.
Yes. And not the nice, make you feel good Blood Rager stuff. I'm talking seriously illegal, slave-creating thrall magic. The kind that can manipulate someone to do anything, even kill.
That was a bad roll. So she looks at you and she thinks about it and goes, what happened to you?
Nothing happened to me. I wasn't there. But someone was. And I need to find them.
She turns around and she like turns the chair around and sits down with it, puts her elbows on the chair and goes, all right, sweetheart. Here's what we'll do. You want information? I'd be happy to give you information if you promise that you're going to get me out of here.
I think I can do that.
Deal?
Get you out of here. I can't promise in one piece. But I can no missing parts. Actually, our mutual friend Warda Ardeo might have a sensitivity in regards to people leaving with missing parts.
All right. Look, that's not the way you negotiate here. I have something you want. You need to give me something that I want. I want to be free. I don't want to be here anymore. I would like to go home.
Immediately.
Well,
You don't want to
eventually.
sit down with the Ardeo family.
No, I don't.
Really? It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I don't want this. This is not... Hold on, 1 second. Oh no, she did roll low. She goes, that's not part of the plan. And she clenches her mouth shut real quick.
Very well. All right, let's say I give you some tips to get out of here, and you give me some tips to finding what I want. That seem fair?
That's fair.
And we'll both be on our own.
Nice. So let's jump over to you guys. So what are you wearing, Art? What are you wearing?
Embrilar Ardeo. He's wearing... I'm wearing a nice black pants, black blazer, dinner wear. The coat tails go down really low, but the vest that I'm wearing shimmers like a low burning coal fire.
Cool.
Like the if you were to picture in your mind the dying last moments of a bonfire.
Cool.
That is the kind of vest.
The pattern that's on it.
Yeah, and it moves like that.
That's very, very cool.
And I go and I grab the hat that was on the side table, and I don it.
What is the hat? Tell us what the hat looks like.
The hat is it's pretty much, it's kind of tattered, but it's still it's nice. But you can definitely tell that it's been aged.
Is it a bowler? Is it a top hat? Is
It is a top hat. My horns can kind of connect into it and then come out slightly out of the sides. And the hat looks like it looks very smoky.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're wearing a hat.
Yep. I'm wearing the hat.
Tippin's gonna go up to Emmy and, hey, Emmy,
Yes, Tip?
can you get me a uniform
Yeah, sure.
for one of your house's pixies?
Yeah, of course.
Also,
And I go, do you not like what you're wearing? Like you want to, like,
no,
you look
I
fine.
have other plans. I don't think they're gonna make a spot for me for dinner, so why don't I find out what your dad's
Actually,
up
no.
to?
You know what? If you want to come to dinner, you can. That'd be just the sort of thing that my mother would hate.
But also, maybe I could find out what your dad's up to.
Meaning what?
Well, I want to see what's in the box. Also, where's Casper's room?
Casper's
On a
room.
totally side note of personal.
Casper is usually in two places, either his room or his studio.
Yeah, I relay that information.
His studio is actually at the rotunda at the very top of the building. He has that entire space to himself
Yeah,
to work.
yeah. And we have a magical elevator that can essentially transport you up.
So, I have a question. Because Casper has that crush on Owen, he would know me.
Oh yeah, he knows you.
Awesome.
He knows exactly who you are.
Excellent. I want to go to Casper. While you're getting that uniform, I'll find you before dinner and just give it to me. I want to go to Casper's room with Joe.
Okay. So
Before they take off, Joe, would you like a uniform as well?
Joe looks at you. She thinks, puts her finger to her side of her head and thinks, shakes her head that she doesn't,
Okay.
and then she holds her arms up
Yeah.
for Tippin to grab her.
Okay.
And so he flies down and picks her up and goes.
Wee.
And then as she's going, she's waving.
Yep. I wave back.
As you guys head through a pixie door and head out. And just as that happens, both of you are led back into the foyer. The two of you and
Mildred.
I keep on forgetting her name. You and Mildred, and then you,
Yeah.
Embrilar, are all led into the foyer to wait for dinner.
Yeah, before that happens, I want to pull Mildred aside just for a second.
Yeah, as you guys let's say you guys are heading down the stairs,
And
so you're in between.
Yes.
Both of you have sandwiched Mildred in between the two of you.
Yeah, and then we descend down to the stairs. The dining room is to our right, and I point and I'm like, "Please take a seat. We'll be with you shortly." And then I'm sure Mildred tries to go in there, and I stop her.
They said that put that on the put
Yeah.
your hand out on the door frame.
Yep, hold her, and I say, "Come with me." And I lead her over into one of the other small parlor rooms, a tea room. And I pull her and I shut all the doors.
Okay.
Can I notice that this happened so I can go to those doors?
So this is what's happening. You do this and you take her and you have gone back in and then done a complete turnaround and are
back.
walking right out.
Yeah.
You're taking her basically to another veranda, a separate
Room, yes.
a separate open veranda.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you shut the doors before she gets in, or do you want to?
Oh yeah, no, this is private.
Fantastic. It's nice you think that. Are there empty glasses on a tray somewhere?
Roll me a luck. It's just two of them.
Plus.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
Fantastic. I take one, and put a tiny sound amplifying spell into one of them and put it against the door so that it has the same effect as when you put a glass against the door. You can hear echoes of the noise within, but it's better.
Sweet. So what happens is, I want you to roll me an Arcanica to perform that spell.
I will do that and hope it turns out okay. It's all neutral.
Neutral.
Plus,
what do you have
the
in-
one of Arcanica.
So yeah, it's a simple spell. It's not necessarily as complex as like a sound, like a silence spell or anything like that. So you basically do. You put your fingers over, and it's like a small sacred geometry that goes over the glass and kind of like goes around it, and it amplifies it. So you got it good. It's a simple spell. But the moment does look like you're heading out, and you go, I'm sorry, this is private. And you like shut the door, and then she like reaches over and does that. And puts her so the moment you turn around, Mildred is seductively draped herself in a chair.
You do like Sylvani women, so.
I do.
She's yeah, she even says that. She goes, I hear you like Sylvani women.
Not you.
She goes, well, you don't know me that well yet.
True. Let's get to know each other. And
She-
I pull up a chair.
straight
and
to
I,
it, yeah.
pull up a chair and I sit down. How do you like the house?
She looks around, she goes, I like it. I've seen better.
You will not hear any arguments from me. I hate this house. I hate being here. We're going to get out of this house as soon as possible. I promise you, as much as you don't have any reason to believe me, if you behave yourself, don't cause any trouble, no harm will come to you.
Really?
Yes.
You're not gonna take me in, hand and eye?
No.
Okay, she's very confused. Like she looks visibly confused at what's going on.
Yeah.
She's like, wait. So I just play along and we have a nice dinner,
Yep.
and what, you let me go?
I wouldn't say let you go.
Okay.
I do have some questions. Dinner's probably going to start soon, so we probably don't have time. I'm just letting you know. I am sorry about what happened.
About
The pit.
the pit. Okay.
I wish that did not go the way that it had. I am thankful that you and your brother did not die. I am sorry that he has been scarred from that. However, doesn't change the fact you are criminals. You
then
did steal
again-
in soul gens. But I'm not here for that. That's in the past. I don't care about any of that right now. I have a job to do, and I'm going to do the job.
She, as you're saying all this, she leans forward, and you do get like a whiff of her.
Yeah.
She does smell very good. She gets very close to you and whispers in your ear, Embrilar, we're all criminals. Don't you understand? The city's a prison.
I'm not going to hear and wax romantic with you, okay? And I pulled back. I'm not here arguing semantics. We're not here to argue philosophy. You smuggle shit, you smuggle smish, you do it poorly, and people get hurt. I wasn't going to cause any trouble for you on the train. You tried to kill me and my friends. To be fair,
Well, it is our occupation.
and you can be forgiven.
You're sniffing
for
around
thinking-
in the wrong places.
Yes. And I want to ask you one quick question.
Sure. Why not? Everyone is asking me questions today.
Do you know anything about a Lipley Strudge?
No?
All right, I'm going to roll an insight to see if this girl be lying. All right, that's a 1.
A 1?
Yeah.
So you get the sense she obviously knows more than she's letting on to.
Yeah.
But she's got such a good poker face that you are not 100% sure,
Yeah.
basically. But she goes, I've never heard the name before.
Okay. Do you know anything about a Sidebars, hold on.
Sure.
I can't remember. Does Embrilar, have we heard the term spider willow before?
Yes, Iggly said spider willow.
Got it, cool. Back in. Do you know anything about the name spider willow?
I've never heard that name before in my life.
And I'm rolling to see if I do again, and that is a 4.
So you know for a fact that she is lying about that.
Okay.
But she stays still stone-faced, very wooden expression. And she... Everything okay? She goes, let's put it this way. I don't know that name, and if I did know that name, I would say, don't look for it. Nothing good happens with a spider willow.
You know, I've been having a lot of that in my life lately where I shouldn't be digging around and I just can't help it. We'll talk more about this later. And I stand up and it's like, remember our deal. Oh, and if anyone asks, you're a friend. You are not a
And she goes, how good of a friend?
Not that good. And then turn around.
As you're sitting there, like, listening, you're getting most of it. But, hold on a second. Yeah. As you're sitting there, Alva, you're listening in at the door. And as you listen into the door, there's a, what are we listening for? What are we listening for? In a whisper. That's better. There we go. And you hear that right next to you.
I try not to jump or drop the glass.
Roll me. Roll.
Oh,
just
gosh
roll.
darn it.
I'm not going to have you add anything to it. Just roll. I'm just curious.
1 minus, 1 neutral, 2 plus. So.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Good,
So it's a plus, which means you don't jump. You don't jump at all.
All right. Without moving my ear from the glass, because this is important, I turn my head slightly.
So the camera's on you, and we hear that, and the camera pans a little bit this way, and there's an Ifriti woman next to you.
Younger or older?
Younger. Then she's not like a little girl or anything, but she's a woman. She's got ashy skin, like dark ash skin, black hair, and black horns. And her eyes are like orange. And she's very pretty. And she's dressed in a very nice, like, oh man, what would be a good color for her? White. It's a white and yellow dress. And she says that, she's like, what are we listening for?
I believe I believe it's your younger brother, Mistress Syndra.
She goes, yes, that's me.
Yes.
And what are you doing listening at our doors?
Oh, your younger brother Embrilar is speaking to a mutual acquaintance.
And she like grabs a cup and puts it to the...
No.
She's like, no. What do you mean no?
No.
No?
No.
Why no? It's
Because
my door. It's my brother.
No, but it's not your business.
Well, I think it's my business if he's my brother.
Mm,
Are you... Who are you?
my name is Alva Goldfinch. Strange circumstances have brought me to your house.
She goes, quick, he's coming. And so the doors open and you see Syndra standing there with Alva, and she goes,
Can't be
on
good.
3, we laugh. 1, 2, 3. And that's exactly what you see as you walk out, is that they're both sitting there laughing to each other.
Yeah. Did I hear her say that?
Sure, roll to see if you see it. Or hear it.
What would that be?
It's a notice.
A notice. Okay, notice is a 2. That's a 3.
A 3? Yeah. You hear her go, we laugh on 3. 1, 2, 3. And they laugh.
So we come out. I'm like, Syndra, dear.
She's like, Embrilar.
We hug. And I'm like, still doing the thing where we say we laugh on 3, huh?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
It is clever. I like it.
It's good. It's good. It's a good cover. Everyone thinks that we're laughing.
We used to do that all the time whenever our mother would catch us and barge in on our rooms.
Yeah. All the time. What are
Where's
you
Cass?
doing? What are you doing here?
Uh,
And who's your friend? Like, Mildred has walked out, and she's walked out, and she's obviously disheveled herself. And she goes, "Who's your friend?"
This is Mildred. She's an acquaintance.
And Mildred comes over, charmed, and she like comes over, and they like have like she like takes her hand and says, "It's a pleasure to have you here. Any friend of Embrilar's is a friend of ours."
Yes. Where's Cass?
Well, we should probably go to dinner.
All right, that's not foreboding at all. All right, Oasis.
So they lead you on your way to dinner, and while we were doing that, let's jump to you. So what are you guys doing?
We're going to find Casper.
Okay, so you're heading through the house. How are you gonna try to find him? Like,
Well, I guess I'm gonna go to like the workshop because that's where I'm guessing he is.
okay, so you
Just knowing Casper, I feel like when his whole family's here, he like gets super stressed, so has to like get rid of that stress
that
by
is
working.
a good. Roll me a luck. Roll me a luck real quick.
That's my assumption. Oh.
So you've never brought a message directly to Casper before. Usually it's just he sends pixies to you guys. Owen never writes him back. So you've never been to where you know.
Can I find the nearest person and be like, can I?
Sure,
like,
I'm gonna
ask
say
where
that you
Casper
immediately
is?
find
Lord Casper.
You find Colton, who is the steward. He's basically they're preparing for dinner, and you show up, and you're like you have Joe like by your hands like this, and she's like dangling in the wind, kind of, and you like come up to Colton. And he like,
I have a message for Lord Casper from his brother Embrilar.
oh, of course. Do you need someone to show you where to go?
Yes.
Of course. And a pixie shows up, and he goes, "Red 3." Yes, Master Swent. Will you please show this young pixie where Master Casper is? Yes, of course. And she like says, "You may follow me," and heads out.
I give Joe a look.
Joe looks up at you and goes, thumbs her nose.
I roll my eyes and
And
follow.
the both of you do this epic eye roll and then fly out. So the pixie takes you outside and up the building all the way to the top rotunda. And the top rotunda has a bunch of stained glass windows around it. But she takes you to a small pixie door, and you guys land, and she looks over at you and goes, "This is where it is. Through the door."
Okay. I go through the door.
And she just watches you. Like, she looks at you, and she gives Joe a really dirty look. She like looks at you and she's like, "Please, you may use this door, not the usual door. This is the one for free ranges."
You can go now.
She goes, "I could, but I won't."
Come on, Joe.
You walk through, and Joe, as she walks by, she does this. As she walks by, she does a thumb across the neck thing, and does the two eye things, points her fingers to the eyes and to Red 3.
What she said.
So it's like the camera is you guys walk, Joe comes back, and as she's going, you come in and say that, and then you guys totally pull a Water Tribe Sokka and Katana.
Water Tribe.
Free pixies. And you guys walk in, and Red 3 just stands there as you guys walk through. You go into this room, and this room is amazing. There are bits and pieces of Mechanica everywhere, and there's a lot of half-done projects. What you know about Casper is that Casper is a mechanist, but he's not just I build Mechanica. He makes art out
He's
of
an
Mechanica.
artist. That's exactly why I want to talk to him.
And there's a lot of like portraits, and they're of metal sheets like interwoven that move. So like you go by and there's a city street, and it's the sun rising and setting, like going back and forth, and it's the sheets of metal that move between it that make it move basically. And there's like a ton of them, but there's a lot of his art just kind of sitting out. And there's Casper. He's in the center of the room, and he's working on a portrait of his family. And really, it's just his mother at this point. There's spaces for Mephanis, and there's a place for Syndra and his mother, and then him. And it's just her that's done on there. Embrilar is not on it at all. It's true. It's true. I'm sorry. So he's sitting there just kind of fretting over it as you and Joe walk in. And Joe immediately like peels off from you and like goes over to some of the Mechanica.
I will like whisper to Joe and just be like, "Hey, play along, okay?"
Thumbs up.
So I'm gonna fly up next to Casper, just kind of hover there for a second.
So you're
before-
hovering there and he goes, "I'm not coming down to dinner, please. Please just leave me alone."
I'm not here to get you for dinner.
Oh, Tippin, hi.
Hi, Casper.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm good. What does Owen want?
Owen has a project for you.
Oh my, really?
She thought.
And he goes, wait. Is this about the Vox box?
No. But
Oh,
she
thank the dare.
loved that. She was so impressed.
Okay.
Good. Owen recently, we met another pixie, and Owen was trying to figure out a way to help this pixie.
Okay.
And she thought of you first.
Really? Roll
You're the
deception. Roll deception. I'm gonna give you a +1 to it because you're doing exactly what he wants to hear.
I mean, that's 2 because I don't have deception. I have will.
Not falsehood?
It's 2.
Oh, do I have falsehood?
Is it falsehood? Yeah.
No, I don't have. Why don't I have? Oh, because I don't talk to people all the time.
Okay. It's a 2 then.
It's a 2.
Let me roll for him. Yeah. He buys a hook, line, and sinker. He's like, okay, what does she need me to do?
She needs you to do something that no one's ever tried before.
Okay.
Can you build a pixie wings?
Oh, I can try. I mean, if Owen needs it.
Yeah. I actually brought the pixie in question with me.
Yeah?
Joe, can you come over here?
Okay, sure. So Joe's on the other side of the table, and she's like jumping up and down and like waving. And so the two of you go over to where Joe is, and Joe's actually like, as you go over, you see that Joe is actually inside a Mechanica, like tinkering with it, and like moving stuff, and Stephanie goes, "Is what this pixie?" Mm-hmm. And he goes, "It's a wingless pixie."
Yeah.
And you want to give her wings back?
They need to be removable for cases of if she wants to tinker, but also allow her to fly again.
Oh gosh, I mean,
It doesn't have to be like fully formed pixie wings, but something that allows her to fly.
I mean, you basically just said it doesn't have to be. It doesn't. You
Like
said here's lead. It doesn't have to be gold, but it'd be great if it was diamonds. I mean, I'll try. I mean, if it's Owen, really, when does she need this by?
She said to take your time because she knows that you'll make the best product possible.
Okay. He goes over to a bookcase and he pulls down like a notebook, and you see that it's empty. And he grabs a pen and he's like, I mean, it's going to take a lot of research. Do you mind if I sketch you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we stand like this? Or?
No, just do whatever you're gonna do.
As Tippin places his arm over her and then disappointedly puts it back down.
Yeah, she goes. She waves you off as she's like working on stuff. He goes, no, I mean just. Yeah, I don't need you to pose. I just need to just do stuff. Just like fly and stuff.
Do you need like? Yeah, I'll fly around him.
Yeah,
he's whatever he needs.
Go ahead, and he starts to sketch. And we're gonna leave that for you guys while you guys are doing that. So we go down to dinner, and you guys are led into dinner. Hold on 1 second. I need to get dinner music.
Dinner music.
Eating the food in an awkward family setting.
We're eating food in an awkward family setting. That's the way it works in Amangara. So you are led into this dining room, and the dining room has this black iron table and down the center of it. And you know this room very well. They use this room. This is not the grand dining room either.
Yeah.
This is just the family dining room.
Yeah.
And everything's like black marble.
Yes.
All the plateware is carved out of obsidian.
Yeah, it's all carved out of obsidian. There's like flames along the walls. And it's hold on 1 second. I gotta find this better thing for it. Oh, hold on. There, that's better.
Okay.
There's flames along the walls for it, and everything's like in black marble and iron, and there's a cello player in the corner.
Of course there is.
Who's playing cello music, and it echoes beautifully in this room. The room is built specifically for its acoustics. You can speak to somebody across the table, and they'll hear you just fine. And you guys go in and sit down, and Syndra sits down. She's like, "Oh, would you like to sit next to me?"
Certainly, thank you.
Of course. And she like goes over, like a steward comes over and like pulls out chairs for the two of you, and Mildred comes up and like puts her arm in yours, Embrilar, and is like, "We'll be sitting together, thank you very much." And Colton's like, "Excellent, of course," and he like shows you guys to seats. And so there's enough room at this table for your family. So usually this table can be larger or smaller.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for the amount of people that you have right here. So it's 2, and then there's 2 on the ends.
Yeah.
There is no space set for Casper.
Okay.
At all, but there's two other spaces
For mother and father.
for mother and father. What do you guys want to do while you're waiting?
I'm sure the servants are coming around pouring glasses of beverages, and the place settings are all. I'm enjoying the centerpiece on the table,
Which is?
it's a small dance being portrayed by 2 embers, two
cool.
fires. They look like they're dancing, and they're doing ballet around on a plate.
Cool. Super, super cool. I dig that. So, as you guys are sitting there waiting, you're talking back and forth. Is there anything you guys want to talk about?
The first thing I whisper into Mildred's ear, and I say, I whisper, "Dial it back," and then like kind of like burn her a little bit.
Like, oh gosh.
That's like I say, "Dial it back," and I burn her.
And you burn her, and she grabs your wrist.
Yeah.
And she goes, "This is dialed back." But she goes, "I'll go further if you want me to."
Absolutely not.
Okay, then we'll keep it as it is.
On the other side of the table, I'm chatting a little with Syndra, and I say, contrary to the strange snuggling that seems to be occurring, they're actually not an item. She's...
I thought Embrilar had a Sylvani girl.
yes, but she's his partner. That woman's not a warden there. Embrilar's.
Well, he's always had a thing for Sylvani.
Suppose so, but. And I can't verify this because it's part of a rumor.
They're also
mill.
very loud. Like they're not they're not like being quiet
I
about
can't
it.
verify
Yeah.
this because it's part of a rumor mill, but I suppose I could ask Embrilar later on. But I believe the Sylvani he is actually intimately acquainted with. They have multiple times.
Intimately acquainted with.
Indeed, they have
Interesting.
multiple times had awkward sex in the locker room of the
Alva!
warden office. I told you it wasn't vetted. I told her it wasn't vetted. Did you?
Not important.
That
That's not
probably
a
means
no.
yes.
That's
No,
not
it's
a no. Yeah.
No.
Oh my.
No.
Cinder's like, really, Embrilar? Interesting. And this, but it's not this one.
Not this one. No.
Oh.
No.
And Mildred leans over and goes, not yet.
She appears to be trying, but
She's trying very hard.
My-
Poor dear. And they're like, both of you two like look at her from across the table. Poor dear.
I just grab
Yeah, no.
my drink and I'm just like, oh god.
Colton comes by and he's like, more, sir?
Absolute Colt all night. Keep them coming.
Of course, sir. What are you drinking tonight?
Ooh.
Another smokestack, like usual?
Actually, can you bring me one of the reserve wines, please?
Of course, sir.
Thank you.
Fire wine?
Yes, please. It's gonna be Mother's here.
Yes. He goes, of course she is. I will bring you your mother drink.
Thank you. Thank you, Colton. Thank you.
And so he goes to get you. He's like, I will go get the special decanter, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
And heads off.
and then the conversation can just evolve to literally about the weather. How's the weather work?
She goes, actually, it's very interesting. Perhaps Embrilar has not said this, but I'm studying to be a weathermaster.
Fascinating.
Yes, yes.
Oh, she's actually fantastic at it. Do your sorry, you don't know. I don't remember how it works. Do your mini snowstorm.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. She's like, okay. So you see her. She takes takes her soup bowl.
Yeah.
She puts it out, and you see her do intricate hand movements, and she basically makes one sacred geometry, and then adds another layer to it, and then another layer to it, and another, and then she expands it out into a three-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
And that three-dimensional shape of sacred geometry is interlocking. She spins it, and it becomes a cloud, and the cloud gives soft, tiny little snowflakes that collect in her soup bowl.
Your siblings are awesome.
She goes, it's just snow. It's not.
Oh, come on. Do you remember all the times when we were young, you would come and knock on my door and say, come on, do you want to build a snowman?
And I tell you no, because that's really bad to do in a tropical place.
Well, that's why you would make the entire room snowy.
I mean, snow is hard for us. It's for us.
But you seem to
hard-
have mastered it. Obviously,
mean,
it's a model, but it looks beautiful.
It is just a model, and it's just regular snow. I mean, I would hate to have Troubadour see this.
Troubadour.
In my line of
Master Troubadour von Claude, the weather master. He's my tutor.
Syndra, when did this development happen? I remember you never told me that you got in.
I did. I mean, you haven't been home in a while.
Well, we understand why. But sister, congratulations.
Thank you so
I know you
much.
were working really hard on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's and as you guys are talking about this, Colton comes back in, and he brings a decanter and just places it close to where you are. It's of a literal fiery liquid. It's like fire made liquid at this point. I'm gonna call it. It is gonna be. It's called Cinder Rum.
And it's blue.
Yeah, and it's blue. Yeah, it's blue fire made liquid, and it's called Cinder Rum.
That was awesome.
And we don't really include you.
No, I was talking about Argyle Prime here. Are you sure it isn't Von Cloud?
Yeah, the pun.
Von Cloud.
Von Cloud.
Well done.
That's why he's called Van Cloud.
So
Makes sense.
Colton comes in, and
Yeah.
a couple of other stewards come in too, and they like knock the table, and the table like extends a little bit, and they start setting another place. And they're like, "We're terribly sorry. We just need to set another place. We apparently have another guest coming."
Who do we have here? I mean, obviously for Casper is. Who else?
Colton leans over and goes, "Master Casper will not be eating with us tonight. He is said he's taking his meals in his room."
Why? What's wrong with?
And
And I'm like, I lean over to, I look over at Cinder, and I'm like, is he in one of his moods?
Colton goes, "It's not polite to say at dinner, sir." And he steps away, but there's the chime that rings that there's somebody at the door.
Yeah.
And Colton leaves and comes back and says, "Master Troubadour von Claude." And in comes Troubadour. Troubadour is a fairy. He looks rather young. He looks about Casper's age, Cinder's age.
Yeah.
Even though fairy and Ifrit don't match up that way, they look comparable to the same age.
Yeah.
He's wearing a canary yellow suit, and he has an immaculate. It's one of your hats, actually.
Oh, awesome.
You've met Troubadour before. He came in for a hat, and it's this canary yellow bowler, and he's wearing this yellow and mustard suit as he comes in, and he goes, "I'm terribly sorry, I didn't mean to intrude, but I was offered a spot for dinner, and you don't mind if I sit, do you?"
And we all stand up. I stand up and I'm like, absolutely, Master Von Claude, of course, please.
Mildred does not stand, but everyone else does.
Yes,
and he's like,
everyone
"Thank
else
you
stands.
so much," and he goes over and he sits on the opposite side, so he's on your side of the table.
Yeah.
Other than,
Yeah.
and he goes, "It's a pleasure to see you, Mistress Goldfinch. Pleasure to see you again."
Absolutely, Master Van Claude. If I can actually describe a little more about his hat, this is a style known as For All Weathers, and it's got some, actually speaking of canary yellow, it's got some bird-like features to it in
Sweet.
that if it gets like rainy, it reacts like a duck's feathers and the water just slides off.
Ooh, nice.
It's got a lining that will like recede or like shrink or grow based on the temperature that you're in. So it's just really good for the basic weathers. As for keeping your head warm or cool or dry or wet.
And he takes the hat and he like gives like his overcoat and his hat away. And so you all sit down to dinner, and he's like, "It's a pleasure to see you, Master Embrilar. I don't believe we've formally met."
We have not, unfortunately, Master Troubadour. It's pleasure is all mine. I hear my sister is doing very well, good work for you.
Yes, she is. She is. It's a pleasure to have her as a student.
Oh, you'll have to tell me more about her exploits there.
Of course, if you have time, of course.
I would be honored.
And they all sit down, and he like looks over at Cindy and goes, "Mr. Ardeo, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, of course." And he goes, "And who's your
This is a friend of mine. Her name is Mildred.
And he goes, "Mildred," and she goes, "Scrapewood is my last name." She's like, "Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Scrapewood."
He doesn't react to that at all?
He doesn't react to it.
Okay.
And goes and sits down. And as he sits down, everyone's sitting there, just kind of chit-chatting before dinner. And there's a ding, ding, ding. And the doors open, and in come Mephanis and Luminessa. Chat. I would like you to describe what Luminessa's dress looks like. I'll describe Luminessa. She is incredibly hard-faced. She's dark complexion, like Syndra and Casper. And she has black horns with gold running through them. Gold spirals that run back through them. She has long, straight black hair that comes to about her knees. And she's wearing a beautiful dress, and the chat needs to tell us exactly what she's wearing. And Mephanus comes in as well. Mephanus has those. He's got reddish skin with white horns. Syndra and Casper both have a reddish tinge to their skin, but it's mostly that dark ash, like black ash for soot color that they have. Although both of them have their father's eyes, and their father's eyes are gold, and Luminesce's are like a deep, like amber color.
Yeah.
And so she's going to come in, and we're going to take a 5 while the chat decides what that is, and we'll get to dinner after the 5. So if you guys need to take a break, because I need to drink something because my throat is very dry.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick 5 here, guys. Let our players get a drink, stand up, stretch their legs briefly. I'm still here in the chat with you to answer questions. We'd love to see more fashion suggestions from the chat. Otherwise, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. All right, everybody, we're coming back.
And we're back? And we're back. All right, so, Allie, what did the chat say? What did Luminessa's dress look like as she came in?
So I think we all kind of agree in the chat here that the dress of Luminessa Ardeo is suited to her like armor. She
Yeah.
wears metal the way many women wear silk and brocade. It has a slender, long line corset kind of feel to the bodice of it. Gold and black and silver. There's like a sweetheart neckline to the top, but there's a high sheer neck on it. And I think some of the other designs we were looking at were full billowing skirts that that sweep out from under that hard metal corset.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what she looks like. And she's like a vision as she walks in. And the moment she walks in, she commands that room.
Oh, the only other thing, sorry to interrupt. The only other thing is she's wearing these really fascinating one-of-a-kind shoes with mechanized heels that raise and lower depending on either how tall she needs to be or how tired her feet are.
Beautiful.
She built them herself.
You can hear like, it's not like the ding, it's like, there's no spring to it, but there's the
Yeah.
like as you can hear the clicks as she's walking in these metallic shoes. Mephanis is leading with her, and he's wearing a suit that is halfway between a suit and robes. So it has wide sleeves on it, high collar, but no like tie to it, and it's all red, white, and black. With to set off his red skin, his white hair, and his white horns. His white hair is pulled back into like a ponytail, and they look beautiful. And everyone stands the moment they came in. Everyone stands up, and everyone bows, and they bow to them. And Luminessa like claps her hands like, "Please be seated." She like looks over. She's sitting at the head of the table. Your father sits at the other end.
Which side am I closer to?
You are closer to your father. I know your tastes. And she goes one by one down the line and goes, Master Troubadour Von Claude, thank you so much for getting my invitation coming soon. He's like, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting. Yes, thank you. And she goes, Syndra. And Cinder bows and she goes, and you are?
Miss Alva Goldfinch, Lady Luminessa.
And why are you here?
I am an acquaintance of your son's, Warden Ardeo.
Ah, I thought for a second because Casper wasn't here. Embrilar,
Mother,
welcome home.
thank you.
And are these your friends? You seem to have brought a lot of them.
They are. I thought it was about time I come back home, and I ran into Father, and he graciously invited me back to dinner tonight.
Yes, we've spoken about it. Who is your charming Silvani friend, the one you've spoken so much about?
Unfortunately, no. She's visiting family. This is a friend of mine. Her name is Mildred Scrapewood.
Good, good. Never build the one machine when you can build two. And she goes, please, sit down and eat. And they begin to bring out the food. Chat, tell us what kind of food they're eating here. And while they're bringing out food and while the chat is doing that, we're going to jump up to Tippin, up in Casper's workshop. Casper spent the latter part, because you basically left immediately, and they've had a lot of time to sit and mingle. It's been about 45 minutes.
Okay.
So he's basically just sketched you guys for 45 minutes. And he's filled like a couple of pages with notes and things as he's looking at, and he's like,
So after he's sketched me, I guess I've noticed that Joe likes it here. So I'm gonna let Joe kind of do her thing. And then I'm going to ask Casper if he has a way to get me in a uniform from one of the other pixies of the house.
He like looks at you and goes, "Why?"
I just wanted to see what it's like. I also want to dress nicer because I was going to go to dinner with...
Do you have talk?
No, but I can...
It's a persuade. You're trying to persuade him.
Neutral.
Okay. So he's like, I believe I can. He like goes over to the wall and there's a chalkboard with a bunch of like red 1, red 2, red 3, red 4, like all the way down to like 30. And he goes and he checks off one of them.
I would definitely be like, red 3 is about my size.
He's about to check off red 5 and he goes, sure, red 3. And in walks red 3. Not through that door. She comes in through, like she flies in through a window at the top. And she flies down and goes, my lord? He goes, yes. And he's now absentmindedly going back to his notes. He's, yes, I need a uniform for this pixie. She like looks at you and goes,
I wave.
why? And he goes, excuse me?
Yes.
And she goes,
Excuse him.
I can get him one. And he looks, how quickly do you need it?
Immediately. Would be great.
He goes, you may take off yours and give it to him.
Wow.
And she does. She like lands on the table and takes off everything. And hands
I
it
have
over
mixed
to you.
emotions about this. Tippin has a lot of like, he feels like gloating, but he also feels like, oh, this is oppression.
And like, yeah, why not? So as that's happening, Joe looks up and looks over at you and like looks at you and then looks at the naked girl pixie that's next to you.
No.
And she looks at you and she goes, thumbs up.
Oh,
And
okay.
she, like, goes
All
back-
right. Okay.
She goes back to like working inside of the thing. And like the pixie's standing there and like covers her. She like crosses her arms and just kind of stands there.
Do the pixies wear hats?
No, they don't wear hats. What they do wear, it's like, it's very simple. It's literally just like pants, like Aladdin pants, and like a doublet looking thing.
I'll hand her, like, as I take it off, I'll hand her my vest,
She takes it and puts it on.
put my hat down, and I'll give that to Joe, because I don't want
Like
her.
Joe takes
It's
it
my
and she
only
like
hat.
hangs it up on something as she's like working inside of the Mechanica.
Like,
So the red 3 goes to put it on and goes and drops it.
Ooh.
I don't need it. She goes, may I go, sir? And Casper, who's writing, says, yes, please. And she takes off and is gone. And now you're dressed in livery, basically, in their house uniform.
Casper, one more thing. Where is your dad's areas? Like,
He goes, excuse me?
I'm
Like-
just so curious about your family. You have such a fascinating family.
Is this for Owen?
I mean, Owen wants to know more about your family, too.
Really?
A little bit.
Oh no.
Okay. I mean, Dad's in a lot of different places around the estate. I mean, his main.
Is there anywhere he works privately?
Yeah, there's a gazebo at the far back of the estate where he will go and meditate there.
Excellent. Anywhere that he like works on projects?
There.
Excellent.
I mean, that's. Dad usually just meditates. That's what he
Awesome.
does.
Just to cover my tracks. Does your mother have anywhere that she works at? Actually, you know what?
And
We
he's-
don't really
he's
care about
like-
your mother, do we?
He goes,
Honestly, she
And
was
he
more
doesn't
interested
answer.
in hearing about this workshop here. I just wanted to.
Owen was?
Yeah.
Really?
I definitely have some great stuff to tell her.
Okay, all right. And I'll work on this.
Yes,
Okay.
please, of course. Take your time. Make
Sure.
it as...
Is it for her? He points to Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, do you mind if I continue to sketch her? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And Joe is, of course, willing
Oh,
to...
will you give this to Owen for me? And he like goes over and he like writes a quick note, and he thinks about it, and then says yes. And then he opens a little box and pulls out just a metal butterfly. And he's like, I made this for her. So if you can give it to her,
Absolutely.
because you're gonna go like tonight, right? You're gonna like I have a message for her.
I will give it to her as soon as I get back to her.
Okay, and he like hands you a tiny note with this metal butterfly, and the metal butterfly to you is only about the size of like a trash can lid.
Okay. Do you mind if I leave it with Joe until I come back so I don't lose it or get
Oh,
it damaged
sure.
or anything?
You're coming back for the flightless one, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll come back before we leave the house and so I can bring it back
Sure.
to Owen.
And he's like, I'll just...
I'm not lying, chat. Hopefully.
And so he goes over and he's like, I'll just keep working.
Thank you.
So that I love her.
I think she knows.
And so you head on out to do it, and you fly. So it doesn't take you long, but you basically fly through the jungle, and you pass by a large workshop. Like it looks like a greenhouse that's part foundry, part forge, part glass blow. It's a huge thing, but that's not where you're stopping. Like you fly past it. Roll me a notice real quick, see if you see anything on the inside.
Yeah, that's 5.
5. You fly by, and as you fly by the window, you see a bunch of furnaces, and there's a lot of humans like feeding the furnaces and working like back-breaking labor type stuff. And you fly by that, and then head further into the jungle until you come up across this gazebo. And as you get inside the gazebo, it's less like a gazebo and more like a small dojo. Like it's got hardwood floors to it. It's open air, so there's no walls to it. But it has like a red tile roof, and it's very beautiful. And there's like a place for incense at the front of it, and there's like a cushion. No, there's not a cushion. There's a spot where obviously someone has sat a lot. Like it has worn, like where his heels rest and where he sits, it has worn its way into the wood.
Okay.
Because he's done it so much, and that's where this is. And so we're gonna jump back to you guys. What's for dinner, Allie?
Dinner is charred spring onion with flaked volcanic salt and a squeeze of lime.
That's course 1.
Roast eggplant with mounted eggplant jus and creme fraiche, braised mustard seeds and preserved lemon.
Also part of course 1.
Summer tart with layered potato, soft eggs, shaved batarga, bitter greens. Individual roast squabs with roast grapes, pickled shallot, and an apple demi-glacé. Rice pudding speckled with amaranth brittle, hibiscus gelée pearls. Fried cheese dish with ginger apricot mostarda, toasted pepita seeds and bourbon pickled serrano. Gnocchi with carrot jus, garam masala reduction sauce, slow roasted carrots, rye crisps, black garlic and leeks. And finally, sweet corn ice cream with churro tuile and salted dulce de leche.
Good golly.
Jeez.
You guys spend a good, like,
Courtesy
hour
of
and a
Chef
half to 2
Shively.
hours eating.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Wow.
And it's a fantastic meal, and it's mostly small talk the entire time.
Yes.
Is there anything in particular you guys want to have said during the course of this meal?
Not at all.
Okay, so you stay quiet.
I'm just trying to be polite to the lord and lady of the house and somewhat more friendly with Syndra.
I'd imagine like conversation regarding Mr. Troubadour and Lord Troubadour.
There's a lot about the Weather Guild and what's going on with the Weather Guild right now, because he's a weather master. He's not just like a weather guy who makes weather. He is one of, I think it's 10 weather masters, and they design weather for the entire city. And he's actually recently become the head weather master. And he's very young. He's a prodigy. Like, everyone loves his weather. They say he's the voice of a generation of weather. And so he's up there. Troubadour is. And they're talking about the Weather Guild, and they're asking you about your hat shop, and they're asking Mildred about things, and Mildred is making up outlandish lies. Chat, what lies are Mildred making up to make herself sound impressive? And as this is going on, your dad leans over to you. Mephanus leans over and to you, Embrilar, and goes, "How are you doing?"
Well, I whisper back, well, I'm on my second canter, and Mother has yet to yell at me or embarrass me, so I think it's actually going well.
I want you to roll me a luck.
Oh no.
Neutral.
Neutral. You're not drunk yet.
No.
I mean, and if Fritty can take a lot of alcohol, you burn a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get drunk.
No.
I'm just doing it just because I need it.
No. It takes the edge off of what's going on. He goes, I know your mother can be she can be a handful, but I just want you to know we're happy to have you home.
It's been a while since I've been here. It's in some ways nice. It's good to see you, Father.
I wish you would come around more. I know you only have a limited time in this world, and I wish you were here more.
I will try. Father, no one's explained to me why Casper isn't at dinner.
He's in the middle of one of the courses, and he kind of pushes it to the side and leans over to you and goes, I have not been able to get anything out of Casper. He's locked himself in his workshop ever since he left in the middle of the night and returned, and won't talk to anyone about what happened. I've tried to take him out to meditate. I've tried to spar with him. I've tried to work with him. His mother has tried to speak to him, but we have got nothing from him.
He was always really close to Mother. I'm surprised he hasn't said anything to her.
Whatever it is, he's keeping it close to the vest.
I'll try.
And I'm worried about him.
I'll talk to him later.
I would appreciate that. Are you enjoying the food?
Does fire burn hot? If for some reason you were never at home, Father, I would come back just for the food. The cooks have outdone themselves, as always.
I will definitely let Bizzle know.
Bizzle, how is he?
He's good.
Good.
He's getting up there, but
How's his hip?
it's gives him a bit of trouble. Ever since he lost that leg. But
That makes sense.
well, your mother did give him a nice prosthetic one. So
Oh, of course.
I mean, he gets around the kitchen just fine, though.
Yes.
As long as those magic hands of his were.
Okay, you guys lucked out. I have no idea how you were able to hire such an amazing chef. He was fantastic. What's new with you, Father? What mail were you picking up earlier today?
Oh, merely mail. Things I've ordered.
Oh, anything regarding the dueling club or
Mostly
meditation?
Yeah.
How was that going?
Oh, excellent.
Good.
We gained 3 new members last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are their prospects?
They're as dumb as pumice. But we'll shape them up eventually.
Of course. If anyone can, it was you, Father.
Thank you. And you kind of tit for tat back and forth. So their chef named Bizzle. What were the stupid things that she said during...
She has said things about visiting the Dare's estate, that the Dare is a good kisser, that she owns a 5-star hotel which serves salt wine so expensive it costs several hundreds of gold Dares just for one shot. She accidentally dropped the word soul gem somewhere in a sentence. Like, she just does not care.
I'm going to say she's drank a lot, but you can tell she's not drunk.
Yeah.
Like, she's putting it on,
Yeah.
and she's putting it on thick. Anything you want to, like, talk about? Anything? Or you said that you didn't want to.
Yeah, I just schmooze, make small talk, polite to everyone, friendly to Syndra because she seems to be an in of sorts. She's friendly back, which helps.
Excellent, excellent. Towards the end of the meal, you're on your final, what was it, sweet corn ice cream?
Yes, with churro something and
And dulce de leche something?
yeah, salted dulce de leche.
You're on your final bit of the meal, and Luminessa stands. And as she stands, she goes, I'd like to thank you all. I'm fairly sure. I would like to thank you all for coming for dinner. It has been a lovely meal. I would like to give my compliments to the cook. And she claps, and Bizzle comes out. There's a as his, with his metal leg. Bizzle's a goblin. His name is Bizzle Olart. And he's a cook. He is one of the best chefs in the city, which is a feat, considering that most goblins eat nothing but mushrooms and mold. And he does do a lot of fungi-based meals, but he's been your family chef for a very long time, and has a Mechanica leg. And he comes out and bows, and everyone claps. It's wonderful. And she says, may I raise our glasses to Bizzle. Bizzle, may you not lose the other one. They all drink, and then Bizzle bows and walks out. And she goes, before we adjourn to the parlor for after dinner, I have a wonderful announcement to make. She looks out at everybody, and she goes, I am pleased to announce that my negotiations with House Kunta has gone wonderfully well. And our Syndra here will be marrying Renelle. And there's clapping, but not from Syndra or Troubadour.
Oh snap!
Neither of them clap, but all the servants clap, and everyone else that's in the room claps, and Mephanis is clapping slightly, and she goes, Syndra, this marriage will not only be great for you, but great for the house. And we thank you for all your happy years to come.
All right. Is it obvious that I can see how uncomfortable she is?
Roll. Yeah, just roll. Just you two. Roll as well. See
insight?
between the two of you.
Can I roll insight?
Insight. Roll insight.
Do I get a bonus for it being my sister?
I'm gonna say yes.
4.
All right. What kind of bonus would that be?
I'm giving you a 2 to it.
+2. Alrighty. That's a 4.
A 4.
4.
4. So the both of you got 4. Yeah, she looks horrified. Like she keeps it together, but there is obviously surprise.
She didn't know.
She did not know.
Oh. Well then.
Okay.
That's something Mother would do.
Alva actually reaches slightly just below the level of the table and puts her thumb on the edge of the inside of Syndra's elbow, and she just applies pressure.
Pressure to it.
Yep.
And like immediately, is that a fly?
There was a fly. It landed on my arm.
She
wants
looks at
revenge.
you as like the applause goes. She looks at you, and then she looks down, and then she looks up and she claps a little
And
bit.
the next time she looks at me, I jerk my head very slightly towards the doors outside in the universal symbol of we should talk.
And she gives you an imperceptible nod, and she claps, and Troubadour then begins to clap, and she's like, "You'll be seeing Renelle tomorrow. We have our first official negotiations between the two of you for your betrothal, and I could not be happier or more excited." And they're like, and Luminessa looks out and goes, "And with that note, I say we adjourn." Mephanis, and your father stands up. He bows, and the two of them waltz out of, glide out of the room. To which then Troubadour stands up and walks right out. And then Mildred goes, "Is he mad?"
Mildred, why don't you continue to be yourself with Embrilar? I'm going to borrow Sindra for a moment. Excuse me.
She stands up and she wants to go after Troubadour. But do you grab her?
No, I grab her sleeve. No, come with me right now.
Fine.
5 minutes, I promise.
And she heads out with you. The cellist is still playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not playing something very sad because everyone saw it. Everyone saw it. So Mildred looks over you and goes, "So what now?"
Would you like to walk around the estate?
I'd love to.
Start walking, and we stand up and we walk out. We get up and we go. I'm gonna go give her a walk outside, just away from everybody else.
Okay, so you guys walk to the gardens, basically.
Yeah.
And head out there. We're going to jump to you. So you are now in Mephanis's inner sanctum. So what are you doing? What are you looking for?
I want to search around for that box specifically, but anything that seems out of place, I guess.
Nice. Oh, I was going to say that. I want you to, real quick, I'm sorry before we do this. I want you two to roll me a notice. Just roll me a notice. It's not going to take a whole lot, but I just want to see if you guys see it.
-1.
Negative
Two.
1? 2. You don't see it. You see it. Mephanis does not eat the food that everyone else eats.
Noted.
They're equally great dishes, but it's all food that no one else eats.
Gotcha.
He has a different meal plan.
He's got his own meal plan,
I'm
his
just
own
going to
diet.
put that out there. So,
Okay. That's neutral, so a 3.
a 3. What are you looking for again?
Either that box specifically or anything that looks out of place in this sanctum.
So a 3. How well would he have? Yep, okay. So you go looking around this place, and again, it smells of incense and polished wood, and it's not big enough for it's not like a dojo big enough for everyone to be in here. It's basically just his. It's just his inner sanctum. And you look around and you find that there is a statue to the will of the world. So one of the main religion of Amengrad, other than the Dare and the Seelie. So that's one. And a lot of people follow that. They're gods. There are gods. The other one that people follow is called the will of the world. And it's basically fate. It's basically, the will of the world is that this happens. And this is the will of the world.
No so-and-so statue?
No, of the so-and-so. So there is no so-and-so. Although, there are some pixies that think the will of the world is the so-and-so.
That makes sense.
There's also no physical representation of the so-and-so.
There's no
Yeah.
There's no statues to the so-and-so or anything like that. The will of the world is whatever, it's kind of like whatever you believe it to be. In this sense, it's a flame that's always burning in the corner.
Nice.
But it has there is a circle sacred geometry type thing, but it's just the outer rim of of most sacred geometry. So here's the thing. On most spells, when you get sacred geometry, there is the ring on the outside where the geometry is made. That, in itself, represents magic or fate or the will or whatever. And that's the symbol of this religion, basically. It's a perpetual circle that's the outside of all magic. Mm-hmm. And in the center of that is a burning flame that's not connected to anything. Mm-hmm. It's just burning in the center of it. So obviously for Mephanus, his will of the world is the will of fire, or the will of fire is what he follows. The will of this world is fire. And you look at that, and that's the main thing you see. And there in this, you notice that there is, obviously, this pedestal moves.
Okay, I'm gonna move it.
It is too heavy for you to move. It is rather large.
Can I find some leverage?
Roll me a luck, see if you can find some leverage.
No.
No. And you get the sense that, like, it's locked. Like, it's not just that this is heavy,
okay.
it's also locked.
Can I find, like, a lock on there?
There is no physical, like, oh, look, this is where the key goes. There's nothing of that. But
Can
you
I
do...
inspect? Okay, go ahead.
Like, as you inspect it with that 3 that you got and looking around, you notice that there is, like, grooves that this would run on. There's obviously a mechanism to this. You're small enough that you can see the telltale signs of a mechanica. But you can't see if it's obviously you like there's a whole montage of you like pushing it from different angles and there's a whole bit of you like sitting there looking at it for a little while and then you like pushing it again while flying and then you have like a stick and you're like trying to pry it and it's that like quick like anime choo 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 and nothing works basically.
Okay. I'm so curious. Can I roll a Mechanica to see if
Sure.
I can...
Roll me a Mechanica, see if you can figure out what it is.
Neutral, so 2?
It's a Mechanica.
Okay.
Like, that's the best you get out of it. Is like, this is obviously mechanisms and gears and something will work, but there's no like thing to touch.
No, like,
there's
button, no, like,
there's no
keyhole.
interface. There's no keyhole. Nothing.
And so this... So it's a flame.
Yeah, there's a
magic.
The way it looks is there's a circle. The circle is suspended in some way. It's just floating there above this pedestal. And then there's a flame in the center that's not connected to anything. It's just hanging there.
I feel like it's a passcode, like a password or something like that. This is Tippin's gut speaking. Do I know of any voice-activated Arcanica mixed with Mechanica kind of things? Is that like a thing?
I'm gonna say yeah, it is a thing that there are certain keywords you can give to a Mechanica to work. I mean, you can roll. I'm gonna have you roll a Mechanica again. See if there's anything you can find from it.
I love the neutral rolls, apparently, too, still.
No. Nothing comes to your mind.
Okay, I'm going to search around for anything else that kind of sticks out, and if not, I'm going to go back to that.
Go back to...
Go back to that statue again, just for one last look. If I
Sure.
don't find anything else.
What are you looking? What are you doing? Just a notice, or?
Yeah, just a notice.
Okay.
4.
4.
Yeah.
Like you look over it and it's well made. It's obviously well made and well maintained. Like it's not like something that's not moved.
Oh,
a lot.
not the statue.
Oh.
I'm looking like around the
Around the room.
dojo.
Oh yeah. I mean, other than that, that's the most interesting thing in here.
I need to figure out how to move it. I'm gonna kick it.
Okay. You kick it.
I kick it. Does anything happen?
No.
Like-
like
Can I try it? So, with my tinkering, have I almost touched the fire? Does it like give off heat?
it gives off heat. It's a real fire.
It's a real fire.
Yeah.
Okay. And the magic, is it like, I'm just gonna ask a lot of questions. Is the magic like written word, or is it like that sacred geometry?
It's so like the magic that's holding it there.
Yeah. Well, the like little magic that's circling it.
Yeah. So like there's a flame, and there's a flame in the center as it circles.
Yes.
And that circle is it's a representation of the geometry. It's not the geometry itself.
Okay.
You can tell that like there's a bowl, like a basin underneath it, and that's what's levitating it all. Like there's obviously this bowl has been enchanted to levitate what's ever in here.
And upon inspection, did I notice, like, if it moves, is there, like, an opening to something that would be underneath? Can I, like, knock underneath it and hear if it's hollow?
I mean, you do, when you kicked it, there's an echo to it. So obviously
so it is hollow.
This is gonna, yeah.
Something inside there. Are there any good hiding places?
Around here, plenty. For
Awesome.
you, there's plenty of places.
I'm a hide and see if someone shows up.
Sure. Roll me, roll me a stealth.
That is a 5.
5. Sweet. You find a place in the rafters, a nice, cozy little place where you can actually like sit and watch. And let's jump to you, Alva.
All right. So I take Syndra gently by the upper arm and lead her out of the dining room, and I find like a secluded parlor that looks like it's probably not going to be a place where we can be easily overheard. Or back to whatever veranda Embrilar took Mildred out on.
Yeah, so you go to that particular veranda. And the moment you close the door, she walks in and she goes straight to the windows, and she just stands there.
You gonna breathe? Good. That should stave off an oncoming panic attack for at least an hour.
Okay.
Okay, good. Just keep breathing, because I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I've only just met you and I have to go talk to Mildred about some very important things to me.
Okay.
Okay. You have many, many choices in front of you.
Okay.
I know it doesn't feel like that right now, but you actually do. First thing you need to know is that your mother just staged a piece of theater. Your tutor was invited here for a reason. That the announcement was the reason. So this was all an act. This is all a show. Shows can be disrupted. Keep that in your mind.
Okay.
Okay. This is the uncomfortable part. Your father is dealing in smuggled artifacts.
What?
He accepted a crate from the Violet Lotus line, which runs from Amengrad to Amenheim. He accepted it today. It's full of artifacts. I don't know what quality they are, but no, listen to me. That line is a smuggling ring that runs everything from Arcanica to Mechanica to the sex trade to I don't know what, and they're working with your father.
She's like walking around the room, like, continue to talk, keep going.
And the reason I am telling you this is because the quickest way to end an engagement is a scandal. What will embarrass your mother if it comes out?
You don't know my mother. Nothing will embarrass her.
All
she
right.
had an illegitimate child for the world to see.
Good point. All right, so she won't be embarrassed by your father's illicit dealings with the black market of Amenheim. Will your betrothed's family find that to be unpleasant?
Yes.
That
Yes.
Mephanis is...
Yeah.
You mean the Kunta family?
Yes, them. Find that out. And if Mephanis' indiscretions...
such a bore. He's he's the smallest flame I've ever seen. Like I don't...
I let her speak.
We met once. Mother had us meet together in the park at one point during a family affair, and he's so boring. So boring. How does she think that? I mean, what could his family possibly? I mean, he is on the weather council. That is something. I mean, I see him every day when I go to study with Troubadour, but...
So it sounds like your mother picked someone for you that you had an affiliation with and that you could possibly control for the rest of your life.
But I don't know what the Kuntal family would... They deal in weapons. Like, I don't understand what that would do with anything my mother does.
Like, Alva's making, like, a stunned, you idiot face. Your mother is the head of the Mechanica Guild.
Well, that has nothing to do with weapons.
No, it doesn't. But if you can put spells into machines, why can't you put weapons into machines?
That's crazy. No one would think of that.
I just did.
Oh!
Listen to me. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You can marry this Ifriti if you want to.
Look, if my mother was interested in weapons, she would go to the Canis family. They're better weapons manufacturers than the Kuntal family. I don't understand why if she was interested in weapons, she would go and do that.
Well, the surface idea is that presumably the Kuntal family is easier to control in some capacity. Possibly they're weaker. Another option is it's something we don't know yet. This is something that you need to find out because it affects your future. That's what I'm telling you. I don't have time to take care of your problems. I met with Master Van Claude. He was a very nice man. I didn't attempt to find out anything unsavory about him. I just sold him a hat and let him pass by. He seems very nice. I wish you all the happiness in the world, whatever you decide to do, but you're going to have to take control of your own future, and you're going to have to figure out what you need to do that. That's all I'm here to tell you.
Okay. No, that's good advice. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. I have to go speak to a Silvani about I don't even know what right now. I'll send your brother in so he can comfort you, or you can yell at him, whichever will comfort you more.
Okay.
I leave.
You open the door and Troubadour is standing there. He's like, may I come in?
Yes, let's switch places. And I just step around him and close the door behind him. So that he's like into the room.
And he steps into the room and you close the door behind him. And the only thing you can hear is, not here! And you close the door and you walk out. So now you're in the...
I'm walking around with good old Mildred Scrapewood.
Mildred. She's doing the whole... She's got her arm like through your arm and she's got her head on your shoulder as you guys are walking through the moonlight, through the garden, around a pond full of lilies. Full of... there are real lilies, but there's also Mechanica lilies in there that give off firefly light. So like it gives off light and then little specks of light that come out off of it. It's very beautiful. Which she said, she goes, this is very beautiful.
I'm glad you're having such a nice time.
I'm having the best time.
Well, I am glad. So, how was the food?
That was wonderful. I loved it.
Good. So, Maida, the dare is a good kisser, huh?
Well, you know, I don't like to talk about it much.
Oh, I can imagine. That'd be quite the scandal.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not opposed to a scandal here and there.
Friendly advice. Don't do that. I wouldn't recommend getting involved with Sealy. They tend to kill most people they meet. So, how'd you end up from the pit and then end up...
Did you just kill another fly?
Oh, it's still moving. Okay. Die. This is a big one.
Be careful with that very expensive, lovely Carolina gaming table.
That's true. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Carolina gaming tables.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you.
We're
That's
gonna
why
keep this
I'm
over
sliding
here.
the
All right.
So how did you end up from the pit to the train?
Oh, it's a long story.
We have all night.
We do, don't we? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I think you need to tell me things first. This is a tit for tat.
I provided dinner.
Your family provided dinner. And from what I understand, you don't want to be here.
You don't want to be here either.
I don't know. It's kind of grown on me. I could be Mrs. Mildred Ardeo.
Oh, I wouldn't count on it.
Oh, not you. You have a brother, don't you?
Oh, even more so don't count on it. That's even funnier. You have a better chance of getting with me than you do with Casper.
Well, and then she scoots closer and goes, then we should start.
How'd you end up on the train?
It's a job, Embrilar.
The job.
You know.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's a job.
Pays well?
It pays enough. It pays enough that me and my brother don't starve.
Well, that's always good. How was your brother? Was it his idea to do the thing? Like, do it both? How'd you get into smuggling?
We've been in it for a while.
And
You can call it a family business.
a family business. Just you two? Parents do that at all?
Just us. It's always been just us.
Oh, you never knew your parents?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can, in a strange way, relate to that.
Good, I guess.
So, what were you doing? What were you smuggling on the train?
How about this? I'll give you all the information you need if you sleep with me.
No,
Then you get nothing from me.
that's fine.
Okay. And she stands up and she's like, if you don't mind, I'll be going now.
No,
Oh, you're gonna stop me then?
no, I believe we had a deal.
The deal was what? You
That-
let me go.
I didn't say when, did I?
I think now would be a good time.
That's where I disagree. You see, I am a warden, and wardens tend to want to do good in the world. And I believe it would be very not good of me to leave you out here. I believe it is my solemn duty to reunite you with your brother. Which, by the way, why didn't he come back for you?
I did. And from behind you,
What?
out of the woods,
Oh no!
steps Conrad and 6 guys.
Oh, okay.
And she goes, so, I think we're now in this territory where you're going to let us go and you're not going to say anything. I gave you a chance.
Do I see the shark guy in there?
No, Tom is not there.
No, not Tom, the cucumber guy, the shark guy who kicked me really
Oh,
hard.
the shark guy? Yeah, shark dude's there.
Shark dude's there?
It's Conrad, shark dude.
You mean Connor, right?
Connor. I'm sorry.
Not Conrad.
Connor.
The chat's freaking out.
It's not Conrad. I meant Connor. No, Conrad is canon, but he's not here, guys. He's not here. It's Connor, Shark Dude, and then it's 6 other guys that you have not seen before.
Okay.
Actually, roll me a notice. Roll me a notice.
That's a 2.
Yeah. You see all these guys, and you immediately think, how did they get in here?
Yeah.
That's all you get out of that.
Yeah.
But you're basically now being surrounded by Connor, Shark Guy, 3, and they've basically surrounded you, and Mildred and you are standing across. And she goes, it's been fun, but I think it's time that I go.
Why? The evening's just getting started.
We're gonna cut to you.
Okay, I'm looking for Mildred and Embrilar.
Okay, so that's what you're doing right there. So you're on your way to I can't, guys. I can't. That's not the way the story works.
You guys, we love you, and we love
We
this.
love you guys.
We love the Conrad love, but there is a reason. There are reasons why this doesn't work.
We have to say, there is a reason why Conrad is not in this particular story.
Yeah.
We have not forgotten Conrad.
We're not quitting Conrad.
We're not retconning Conrad. Conrad happened. He is alive. He is doing things in the city. What that
role means is that Conrad is in our hearts. He has
Conrad is permanently in our hearts. Please don't think that we're We don't care about
It's out
Conrad.
there. Don't worry. I don't think you guys are like. I know you guys are like kidding and having fun with it. I'm just letting you guys know we're not doing Conrad because we don't think it's interesting.
Right. I do want that Conrad sketch on a shirt.
Yeah. Oh, and
With the little skillet.
Okay.
so
Oh
good.
god, that's awesome.
So you are walking like out into the gardens
Yeah,
to
to
like
find
see,
them.
and I'm gonna say you're walking by as you see all this happen. So you are on the. If there is a pond and a garden, you are like just on the other side of like a line of trees, like down a path, seeing this.
Oh no, 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 no!
So, yes, go ahead.
What I want, I'm starting to run over them, and what I'd like to do is, on the subject of sound amplifying spells, I want to sort of wind up and maybe use the time to wind it up. Basically, something that either sounds like an alarm or a very loud female scream.
Okay. Awesome. I want you to roll me an Arcana count.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a lot of them. You can just
Drop it.
You guys moved the Warda tray.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
Oh, how?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. 3?
3? Okay. So you're gonna. I'm gonna say that it is a. Oh, let's see. Let's see if they. Yeah. You set off this alarm spell.
Well, like I'm holding on to it. Like I
Yeah,
don't want to
like-
let it go quite yet. I want.
Okay, so
I
you-
want to be able to release it at any moment.
You have it. I'm going to say that you have it. It's built, like the sacred geometry is basically built and then wrapped itself like around your hand. So you can let it go whenever you need to. We're going to jump to you, Tippin,
Okay.
because we're almost at time.
So I'm hiding, waiting for anyone to come up and.
No one shows up. Like, all the time goes by, like dinner goes by, the night comes, the moon rises, no one comes.
All right, I'm gonna fly out. Tippin got bored. I'm gonna fly back to where dinner was supposed to be, I guess.
Okay, roll me a notice.
4.
Okay, yeah. As you're flying back, you notice trouble going down with Embrilar.
Right.
You see that he is in a garden by a pond, being slowly circled by people.
No, that's not good. Okay. What's around me?
So around you, basically you are like in a tree, like you've like landed in a tree, and you're looking down over this.
Do I see any of those metal flowers?
They're there in the pond. They're
How big are they? Just
they're
like in
they're the
comparison
size,
to myself.
They're the size of probably this table for you.
Dang. Okay. And so they're in like a clearing, and is there anything above them? Low-hanging fruits, anything?
From where you are, it's so like you're on the trees, and there's a clearing over the pond. So there are no trees over them, but they're basically coming in around Embrilar. She goes, Embrilar, you have one choice here. I don't think you can take everyone here.
You don't know me. Actually, all I have to do is just bide my time, and then when either the guards, my friends, my father, my mother, my sister, my brother, if any of them show up, I just have to bide my time.
You don't think we could kill you? And Conrad goes, not Connor, Connor, I wish we'd named him something else now. Connor says, you don't think we could kill you before anybody shows up?
As long as I stay away from shark guys' kicks, I think I'll be fine.
I'm running to find the nearest guard.
Okay. Roll me a, I think it's a notice. It's a notice to find a guard.
That is a 3.
3. There's Frank at the front gate.
Awesome. I go tell Frank. Hey, Frank. Embrilar Ardeo is in trouble. Embrilar Ardeo is in trouble. I have a message from Embrilar Ardeo.
What?
Hi.
Hi?
I'm Red 3. Embrilar Ardeo is in trouble.
Where?
I'll direct them towards like kind of basically point towards that clearing.
Okay. And he's like, okay. He like gets up. He like gets a lantern. He takes his time to get stuff, and he's like, show me where.
I go and show him as fast as I can.
And he's like, you're going too fast. I'll just follow you. And he like slowly walks.
I keep an eye out for someone more useful. 3.
The grounds are empty.
I smell an inside job. I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Because now Tippin feels the same way. So I'm going to keep out of arm's length from him as well, just in case.
From Frank?
From Frank.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I mean, you flew way off, and he's just walking. Like,
I guess I need to figure out the distraction. I'm looking for fruit that splatters well.
okay, you can look for that. What are you doing?
All right. I'm running up to them, and when I see that both Connor and Mildred are there, I say, "Oh, good, Connor, you're here too. I can speak to you as well. Mildred, did you tell Connor what I wanted to know?"
So you come out of the trees, and everyone's like, "What?" They all look in your direction, and like, there's. That's perfect. Yeah. If you want to take. Actually, we're gonna end it right there.
No! Come on!
Let him throw a punch like last time.
Let me just get one in.
Okay, go ahead.
Is
Go
short
ahead.
guy near me?
I'm gonna say yes. Why not?
Yeah!
Fire combat magic. Element of surprise. That is a 4. That's a 6. Element of surprise is something.
No.
Come on.
That's a 6.
Yeah.
All right. Man. Okay. What do you do?
Oh yes. So I don't have my strike on me, right? So
No.
I can't really do anything drastically. So I don't have any weapons on me. Okay. I want to. Do any of them have weapons?
I mean, nobody's really. They've pulled like strikes and stuff like that. Some of them have knives, like short blades and knives.
Okay.
So there's bladed weapons and stuff out, basically.
Okay. Can I do any? What is the limit of magic I can do without a strike?
I mean, you can do. I mean, you've learned like you've
Oh,
learned.
I'm done. Okay, I remember. I'm gonna get in close, and I'm going to cover my hand in fire, just like I did with Ezzy.
Oh no.
And I'm going to get up this shark guy, and I'm gonna kick him super hard in the stomach, and then when he falls backwards, just get him right in the face.
Cool. I'm gonna say that happens. So you go.
Yes!
You jump out, kick him. He starts to go back. You grab him with one, and then you grab him by the collar, pull him back, and put your flaming hand right on his face.
Yeah.
He screams, and as he screams, chaos erupts.
And Alva screams, "Cagging hell!"
And
I let the sound go.
And just as she lets that go, and there's a burr, 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 this loud horn is going off. Spells are now being like thrown. Everything is
Frank's
going
moving
down. We're gonna end it for tonight and pick it up next week.
Oh man.
Sweet.
So thank you all so much for coming out and being a part of Warda tonight. We're gonna jump in next week with that rumble. Apparently that's how fights go in this world.
Yeah.
They're always cliffhanger fights.
They're always cliffhanger
Yeah.
fights.
And they're always ambushes also.
yes.
It's the will of the
We
world's
get
fault.
ambushed
Yeah.
a lot.
It's
We
the
really
will of
need
the
to just
world.
be
The
ready
will
The
of
for
the
world
world.
likes
world.
action movies.
And fire.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate everybody being here, hanging out in the chat, shouting out suggestions about the world and the food and the appearances of the characters. We're so glad that you decided to be with us on Tuesday nights. Make sure to tune in next week. Let people know about the podcast. They can subscribe on iTunes. Don't forget, you've got like 24 hours-ish to back the Dungeon Dome. Every little bit helps. It's going to be an amazing show. We hope you'll tune in for that as well. Thank you, all of you. Good question, Argyle Prime. Gen Con does not affect our schedule. We will have a game Tuesday night before Gen Con and Tuesday night following Gen Con. But I, Allie, will be at Gen Con. So if you guys are going to Gen Con, let me know. Tweet at me at welcometowarda because I want to hang out. Hooray!
Hooray!
Thank you so much for endorsing.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out and for being a part of this. As always, we want to say that, Warda wouldn't be anything without you guys. We love you guys. We love how much you guys are in the chat, and we love how much you've helped build this world. And you guys are a part of this as much as we are. So let your friends know. Tell your families, your friends, people who you might be interested. And we will see you next week for Warda Curiosities.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.